Hello everybody, it's vanburman here. Welcome back to my Kingdom Come Deliverance first impressions video, like extremely early first impressions. I'm actually just going to load up Steam now and say how long I've played it. 3 hours is what all I've played it for, so that might give you a little bit of indication as to sort of how much I've done, where I'm up to, and all that sort of stuff. So yes, we're pretty much still in the tutorial stage. Everything's very early on, but I've got to say, so far I'm pretty impressed with the game. Now, don't take this away from anything when I say it does remind me a lot of Oblivion. Now, in that regard, I mean, obviously graphically, it's not the prettiest game I've ever seen, but it's by no means the worst. In fact, it's very serviceable, and probably about where I thought it would be in terms of graphics and graphical fidelity and that sort of stuff. So yes, but the Oblivion thing is sort of like a lot of the bars and the graphs and icons and such seem very Oblivion-esque, but it does fill me with a large sense of wonder and excitement that Oblivion did when I first played that. So that for me is a great feeling to have back again. You know, just feeling like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. A bit of a tingly. It's weird. It's weird. It's like a tingly feeling that you get. I don't know. It's one of those things you only really get from a really sort of interesting, delectable, you know, open world RPG. And for me, it's great to have that back again. Not that I didn't get that in Oblivion, but like the art style feels very much inspired by Oblivion. Like I say, that's not taking anything away from the game at all. Just want to make that point. So the game does not hold your hand through anything at all. There are multiple ways to get through every single quest, every single challenge, but it won't sort of just say, right, you're off here, off you go. Not necessarily anyway. So, you know, for example, you're going to see a little bit of clips of me riding some horses and you know, doing some exploring around the castle. But yeah, so basically I had to exit the castle. I've been ordered not to, but you know, obviously the main story was going that way. The protagonist has got these ideas that he wants to leave. And to get through that, you know, you've got to get past the guard. So you have word with the guard, try and persuade him. You early on, you've not got really high persuasion, so, but the guard offers you, you know, a recourse. So he says, you know, if you're dressed up as a guard, there's a good, you know, I can just claim ignorance and say, you know, you got through. But then what the game does is, or at least this is how I sorted out the issue. So if you go into the guard tower, you want to try and steal some armor, but the armor, as far as I was aware, as far as it looked like, was in the chests. Now, to open chests, you need lockpicks. I hadn't picked up a lockpick up until this point. There's a merchant. And you're thinking, oh, right, so the merchant's going to have a lockpick, that's fine. The lockpick is like, I don't know what the exact currency is, but it was like 18 gold, effectively. They have got a currency name, which I can't remember what it is now. And in order to get that, I had to pretty much sell everything I had scavenged up until that point, pretty much, just to be able to pay for it. So I decided, well, I better save, because obviously if I don't get the lockpick right, then, you know, I'm going to have to do it again. So I started doing the lockpick, and, yeah, failed it like 2 or 3 times, had to reload. Eventually I looked online, and it turns out that the lockpick tutorial is like apparently an hour or an hour and a half away from where I am currently. So that bit's in the game for the future. So you get absolutely no indication of how to even do the lockpicking. So after about 3 or 4 reloads, I managed to do the lockpick, get the armor, and get through the gate. But what's happened is, because I'd reloaded, I hadn't actually spoke to the guard and had him tell me that I needed to get the armor. So now the dialogue options were completely different. It was as though, you know, I had just turned up with the armor on, and, you know, I'd organically thought that was how I was going to do it. So all of a sudden, he is not willing now to let me through the gate, because he is obviously not the one that suggested it. So stuff like that does change, like the whole dynamic seems to change, you know, based on your actions and in what order you do them in. So yeah, and this is just from the beginning as well. So I'm really quite amazed by how all that's played in, and you know, how it all melds together. So far, I've got to say, I got nothing but praise. In fact, I'm surprised I'm even making this video, to be fair. I mean, I just want to jump back in and play it, but I thought it would be remiss of me not to talk to you guys about my trials and tribulations with it. Just letting you guys know, it's probably not like, it's not a casual sort of sit down and pick up and play type of game. I feel like you have to be in the mood for it. You have to be constantly aware for challenges, openings, you know, the ability to seize something. Like, for example, I don't think it showed it in this video, but I was running away from the enemy army, and you meet a girl early on, and she's basically surrounded by these 3 guys who are obviously trying to, you know, rape her. And I had the sword, and I was like, right, I need to somehow get my sword out. So I didn't know which button it was to draw my sword. It's the left number stick, if you want to know, or probably presumably a number key on the keyboard. And just started hacking at them, and it gave me a dynamic objective. And I managed to save or distract the attackers for long enough that she was able to get away. But then that hinders yourself in getting away from the people who are chasing you. So stuff like that, you've really got to be on your guard for, looking out for. I'm not sure how much these decisions will change the course of the game. Whether, you know, might get to see her later on at some point. You know, she might be like, oh, thanks for helping us out. You know, I'm going to help you out, give you some items, whatever. We'll see how that plays out. I'm looking forward to that, because obviously I'm presuming not everyone will have stopped to help her. They would have ran past, got on the horse, and got off as soon as possible. You know, which is what the game is pushing you to do. But then, obviously, you spot it in the moment. That there's a different path you can take, or there's, you know, something extra to it, and you take it from there. So yeah, just something to watch out. I've tried to be very vague with specifics, just so I don't spoil it, but just wanted to give my impression of what I've had so far. It's all been very I think it's been fairly story rich so far. You know, there has been cutscenes. There's not really been a lot of just, right, now you're out in the world, go and explore. I'm guessing, you know, that's going to come in the next couple of hours or so, where we'll be able to pick up quests like dynamically, rather than, you know, down the more linear path that we're on now. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that does progress, and I will do more videos on it coming up. Any questions, queries, comments, or like if you get stuck in any of the first 3 hours, because I know I was struggling with a couple of things, which is probably why I'm not as far along as I could be after 3 hours. But no, I'm thoroughly enjoying it at the minute. Like, I'm really pleased. By the way, if you do want to pick up the game and you are on Steam, I believe it's £27.99 on CD keys if you want to go and check them out. I've never had any issues with those guys. They're really good. I'm not sponsored or anything, don't worry. I just think they're, you know, really good for Steam keys and that sort of stuff. So yeah, do check them out, and as always guys, I'll see you all very soon. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.